Dude, hash browns are just flat tater tots, TJ.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. On today's episode, we are going to be talking all about Monster Girl, as well as continuing our recap with Volume 11, which contains issues 54 to 59. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan. Joining me is TJ.
Oh, hello.
And Bill.
Hey, it's Bill.
What are you guys looking at?
I don't know. I thought TJ was looking at a fucking ghost behind me, so I kept looking.
TJ, are you looking at a ghost?
I was just looking at your books that you have on top of your bookshelf. That's all.
Yeah.
He's looking at a ghost, though. Do you see the way that he's looking at
It did kind of look like it.
I saw a movie.
What'd you see?
Annabelle Recreation.
Oh.
So I've seen every single movie in the Conjuring
Conjuring universe.
So there's The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring 3?
It's not out yet, but it's coming.
Okay, alright. So it's Conjuring 1, 2, Annabelle, The Nun.
There are 3 Annabelle movies.
Oh my god.
And Aquaman.
There's Annabelle.
Oh yeah, he is an Aquaman.
That's what I was about to say, is that...
There's that Easter egg.
is that the Conjuring universe is the most successful universe other than Marvel. Like movie universe other than Marvel, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So are you going to tell us your impressions?
Wait.
Then DC. I read that somewhere. I don't know. Maybe,
Does that include Star Wars? And Lord of the Rings and
Yes. Yes, it does.
I definitely read
Annabelle
something.
the Doll.
I definitely read. You're right. That can't be right.
I'm sure
But I
there's
definitely
a stat
read
out
something.
there.
Yeah.
Maybe horror franchise?
Maybe it's the most successful horror, but Scream
there
and
is
stuff?
there is no universe that it's built. What James Wan is trying to do
Saw?
is build a horror universe around it's all different stories, but they're all in the same universe.
James Wan hasn't directed all these movies, has he?
No,
but
he's
kind of overseeing.
Producing.
Yeah.
He's the Kevin
So
Feige.
there's The Conjuring 1, 2, and soon to be 3. There's Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home. There's The Nun. There's The Curse of La Llorona.
The Curse of La Llorona isn't
yes,
The Conjuring?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. I don't believe you.
Please look it up.
It's completely different.
I love being right about things. And then there's going to be other spin-offs and stuff.
So you saw. So what are you getting at? Do you enjoy him?
I really like him. The first Annabelle was not good, but that was the only one that I thought was not good.
Yeah.
Bill, in the first Conjuring, I think it was the first Conjuring. You see, before we see any Annabelle movie, you see Annabelle in the glass case.
Yeah, she's in their little basement area.
Yeah, and that basement area. Mm-hmm. The newest Annabelle, you know how in that basement area they keep all these things that they've collected
Possessed
that are
items.
Evil?
Yeah.
In the newest Annabelle, it's that room. Annabelle brings all of those things to life. And it's just like a girl.
Spoiler.
That's what the plot is.
The premise of the movies.
All of those things and it's about all those things terrorizing.
So that's the universe that's created. All those different things.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Kind of. I mean,
TJ is right. The Curse of La Llorona is in the Conjuring universe. So do they do the does the husband and wife make a
reference
an appearance in that or a reference?
No.
So they're not referred to it?
Well, kind of.
Well, interesting.
There's obviously references, but yeah, it was very good, and I think you would like it even without seeing any of the other Annabelles. I think that you don't need to see the other Annabelles.
So the order in which you need to see these movies is The Nun, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle 1.
Annabelle Creation is a prequel to Annabelle.
Okay, so oh my god, why do they do these with these movies? The
Because
Nun,
they
Annabelle
fucked
Creation,
up Annabelle and they needed to correct it.
The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. Which one did you just watch?
Annabelle Comes Home.
That's not even listed on here.
I think it takes place between The Conjuring 1 and 2.
I'm sure. Okay. All right.
So welcome to the Conjuring podcast.
The scariest movie I've ever seen, horror movie, that is the First Grudge. That movie.
So, but The Conjuring though.
The Conjuring was good.
My number one most terrified movie was Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, that movie.
But The Conjuring, I still think of when I think of the most terrified I've ever been in a movie theater. I don't get scared during movies, but was the first Conjuring where the possessed woman is like crawling through the walls to get to the girl, and then the woman, the main woman that was like the hero, you know, was chasing after her, and she's like, I know your real name, and if I say it, whatever, you're under my control or whatever. Or the guy said it. He's like, Bathsheba, and she turns around and her face is completely different, like a demon face. I get even now. I love horror movies and I don't get scared.
Sign stuff
I don't get scared.
The alleyway,
but it makes me want to throw up.
Yeah,
when I don't like it. That part, man.
This is the Invincible podcast.
I might clip that out and insert it at the end when we talk about more movie stuff later. But yeah, I want to bring up the comic I got in Chicago. I did go, me and my wife went to Chicago. I had never been before. And I went into a little comic shop in just some small outskirt of Chicago and was flipping through the comics in their long boxes. And, you know, you go through and you're going through the Invincible Iron Man. And then you finally find some Invincible issues. And they were all like new issues. They were all like the end of all things and stuff like that. And then randomly issue 4 was mixed in there.
The 4th issue.
And I have never had that experience. Whereas like TJ, you've gotten like the really rare issue 75. We've talked to the variant. We've talked to like Devin Barry, like people that have like stumbled on like rare finds in the shops. And I've never had that experience before. So it was super cool to walk in and just find one randomly and see that it was $4 and like put it aside and try not to make a big deal out about it. Keep looking through the comics, like hope the guy doesn't like mention that, oh, that's priced wrong or something.
Yeah.
Like,
did he say something when you bought it, or did he not even know?
He was just like, I bought like this and we got like an iced tea or something, and he's like, oh yeah.
You just like mix it in with a whole bunch of other comics.
Just slide it in there. He's like, oh, and Invincible, and I'm just like, yep, issue 4. So that was pretty cool. So this is now, other than issue 1, the oldest issue I actually own.
Yeah, that happened to me at the comic shop over up by the Galleria Mall. I found issue 75 variant cover, and it was like $8 when it's going online for much, much more than that. And it was like mint condition too. I still want to get it graded. And at the same time, I also got, I had just started reading Descender. And I wanted like an issue 1, so I grabbed issue 1, and it was again like $8 or something.
Really?
And I took it up, and the guy was like, he's like, yep. He's like, you're getting a good deal on these because he called me out immediately.
Yeah.
He had the wizard like right there, and he like looked it up too.
Really?
But he had it like already open like probably because he always does that. But he knew immediately when he saw the Invincible, and then he's like, also the Descender. He's like the Descender. First issue, he explained to me like the first issue came out for free. It was like a free thing, but when the second printing is actually like the rare one and it's worth money. So I got both.
I actually did look through the Descender, and then I looked through like Saga. The oldest Saga they had there was like, it was like issue 7, and it was like $25 or something. But yeah, I was like hoping that I'd like, you know, randomly find another old thing. But so yeah, that was pretty cool. If you want to be a part of the show, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as theinvinciblepodcast.com. We are also the Oblivion Song Podcast. You can check that show out. It goes live every Friday after the newest issue of Oblivion Song, which is usually like the second week of the month. Kind of goes into the third sometimes. Yeah. So anytime there's like a Wednesday where a new issue of Oblivion Song comes out, we'll be talking about it on that Friday on the Oblivion Song Podcast. And we've got like, is the next issue the end of an arc for Oblivion Song? Or is there 2 more?
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it?
I think it might be next issue. Because there's some shit going on in that.
Wait, is it? I can't remember. What was the last issue?
Either it was 16, or it ended at a cliffhanger. Either way, I remember it being a big deal.
I think we have another one.
You have 2 more then? All right.
I think so.
Speaking of Robert Kirkman comics, though, we are recording this on Monday night, and Robert Kirkman is talking. We got 2 more. Yeah, Robert Kirkman is talking about there being potential Walking Dead spoilers out there because of something big is happening in issue 193 or 194. It's the newest issue of Walking Dead. So we do not know what happened in it. I know Bill and TJ are currently getting caught up on the series. So we won't be spoiling any of that, although we do know there is someone who messaged us over on Twitter, Ray1313, and he wrote about Walking Dead and really wants to know our thoughts on stuff and gave us some of his thoughts. So hopefully by next month, all 3 of us will be able to talk about what has been going on with Walking Dead, because there's been some shit.
I can probably knock it out. What am I starting at? Issue 157?
The Whisperer's War. What does that say, TJ?
War? Which I've read the Whisperer War.
Yeah. Well, that's like a good catch-up point if you need to recap.
Oh, that's 1 through 4. Who did that variant cover?
Oh, that's awesome. I forgot who did it, but there's 7 connectings or something like that. They're really cool.
Very cool.
But yeah, so you'll knock it out in a month. Easy. Like
sooner than that.
Yeah. TJ, you're only like 2 volumes, 2 trades or whatever behind.
Yeah, I'll catch up quick.
I really think we should all try and catch up in time to talk for next month because I think some big stuff's happening.
I have my... we took it out of storage and put it out. Remember that Rick statue I had with him with the axe? On like the mound of zombies and stuff? It's like 1 out of 1,000 that were made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pulled out.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
We also have an email I wanted to read right now.
We do?
We do. This is from Jeremy, or he says Jer. Jeremy says, hey guys. Jer. Hey guys, I just wanted to drop a line and thank you for putting the podcast together. I have jumped around and reread the first 3 paperback volumes of Invincible over the past few years, always fearing the daunting task of the complete 25-volume run.
Oh my gosh.
I am proud to say I have finally completed the run, thanks in part to suffering some medical setbacks in my adulthood. Listening to your new reader series helped to keep me invested during those days that I was too weak to even keep my eyes open.
Fucking new readers always come back to haunt us.
No.
Once we're done with all the rereaders, we should just delete all of the new readers.
And just replace them. So thank you for putting that out there for us comic fans, while we continue to see where Kirkman and company take the Invincible universe beyond the page. I'll be posting some fan art I rendered on the iPad to my Instagram, beginning with the 16th President of the United States, the Immortal. Thanks again, Jer. And then he has a link to his Instagram, which I'll put, I'll tweet out online once this episode goes live. And I really like his stuff, TJ.
Conquest, nice.
Here's the Immortal that he did.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
I like his face.
His Instagram name is Jer Jones 27. So JerJones 27. So he's got a lot of really cool Invincible work on here. So yeah, TJ, you're adding them right now?
I am. I'm going to add your ass.
Awesome. Oh,
going to add you, Jer Bear.
Jesus. So thanks for that. That's awesome. I love hearing that, especially like it's been like 2 years since the new reader series.
What is it, Jer Jonas?
Jer, good. Jones, Jones. 27. Got him?
No. Got him.
Got him. All right.
Got him, need him, got him, need him, got him.
Little Monsters.
One of the things you quote the most, I think.
Little Monsters?
Just that quote itself. TJ quotes it like once a month.
No, Bill does.
I do all the time.
Bill is the one that always quotes it. But it is a great movie.
And it's on Netflix.
I don't think I've ever even seen it.
What?
I don't think so.
It holds up.
Really?
No,
it does.
You know what it reminds me of?
I just watched it with my niece.
Really? It reminds me of, and I don't know why it would because I haven't seen it, but for some reason I think of Drop Dead Fred.
I just watched that with my niece like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was probably like
Drop Dead Fred.
5.
I feel like does not hold up very well.
It is a very not a child's movie.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It's messed up. I remember
so
it being very
adult.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I just watched Cat in the Hat with Remy.
Ooh.
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
Mike Myers?
That's a little adult.
I remember when it came out, parents were like a little weary about it.
All right, we're going to jump into some Invincible-related news right now. First thing is just a cool little anecdote that the Invincible team is back together for Amazing Spider-Man, which I need to catch up on. I'd like to be caught up on Ottley's run before seeing him in New York. But it's cool that Ottley, Cliff Rathburn, and Nathan Fairbairn are all together doing it. So it looks like Invincible. The only person is just the writer. That's the only thing that's different. Otherwise, it looks like Invincible, which is pretty cool.
It's a big difference.
Yeah. What is? Oh, the writer. Yeah. Speaking of Ottley, he just did Amazing Comic-Con in Hawaii. So if you check out his Twitter, he's got a bunch of pretty cool sketches.
Him and Captain America.
Yeah, he actually did a bunch of meet and greets. There's one
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
It looks super. The one with him.
This one?
Yeah, this one.
Josh Brolin.
with Ryan Ottley's face like super excited.
Such a goofball. I love it.
Do you think they know
that last
he's like
Spider-Man one he did? Was
I wonder
really
if he says, he goes up to him and says, "Oh, I'm an artist," or he probably. I wonder if they open early enough or something. No, because the guests probably wouldn't be there. I was going to say if there's like an hour window where people who are working the floor get to attend.
Go out.
Normally, Tom Holland goes to Ace Comic Con, but it looks like he didn't this year, unless he just chose not to meet him. But I think that would be cool. Like, I'm the real Spider-Man. Like, I fucking draw Spider-Man. You know
that would be cool.
Like,
getting the two of them.
That would be cool.
There was another Felix sale of pages.
Yeah.
I knew when it was going live, and I actually was super busy at work and didn't get to look till like a half hour after or so. And by then, it's always hard to tell when you jump into the Felix sale late because the price is no longer there anymore. It just says on hold. So I didn't really get to get a really good idea of how much pages were selling for, and it's hard to see which ones were new. So what was it? Mostly robot.
It was like kind of random. It was like issue like 114 or 113
stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was like issue 95 stuff. It was like really random stuff. There was nothing really that jumped out at me except for one page I really considered, but it was just a little too much for the content. But like I really liked Monax, and it was a really cool Monax page.
Yeah.
I didn't get it though.
We'll talk about Monax a little bit later.
Yeah, we will.
Otherwise, there's also that article. I feel like we should probably just bring it up just because there is that AfterBuzzTV.com article about that's titled "Amazon's Invincible Director Unexpectedly Leaves Series." So this is an article that went up about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and it's all about how Justin Copeland, one of the co-directors on the Invincible animated series, was doing an interview, and he mentioned that he actually left that show. He was on there for a while, then actually left, and he's doing other things.
But Chris Copeland is still...
We don't know if Chris Copeland is still on it. It is not in his Twitter bio anymore. He doesn't talk about it, but as far as we know, he is still on it. His brother, we knew, worked on Hush. So I kind of assumed he got off the project.
But he wasn't the one... Chris Copeland is the one who was the storyboard
posting
artist
it.
Actually
active
Chris
on it.
was the one that was more active about it. Exactly. Right. But now he says that he's working on something with his brother on his Twitter bio, doesn't mention Invincible. So
this is how it starts.
We'll see. I know it doesn't. He talks very positively about it.
What did I read? I read something.
He says. Justin Copeland says that was a blast. We're really good friends with Robert Kirkman. That was a dream come true job. The cast is one of the best casted. As far as we know, the voice work is already done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not concerned that this isn't going to happen.
The thing that I'm going to reference, maybe you've seen it, maybe I forgot to write it down. Normally I'll write it down to reference it on the podcast. But I just read something recently where someone was asking somebody else who was working on the show, like, that they were getting like frustrated, like when is it gonna like come? When are we gonna start seeing stuff? And the person who answered, I think it had to have been Kirkman, said that it's overseas right now getting animated, and animation takes a long time. I don't remember. Did you read what I read? Does that sound familiar to you? I can't remember what it was.
But I know that's.
But that tells us it's in the animation stage, and it's like kind of out of their hands right now.
So what
which
happened
is cool.
I think the storyboards, again, sorry for our ignorance, we don't know the process that well, but from what I gathered, they did the voice work, then they storyboard it, and I tried watching some videos about how animation is done, and they storyboard it. So they do the rough animations of us sitting here, us maybe doing subtle movements, and then they ship it overseas to another country where they have people who animate the actual us.
We know that there is animations because, like we talked about last episode,
Ottley has
seen animations of
probably the
just
key
talking.
animations, and
So would the directing... If they've
storyboarded, needed.
Yeah, if they've storyboarded every single
I'm sure after
episode,
the animation comes back, they have to make sure it's edited the right way and things are cut. And if things aren't approved, they have to be sent back and reanimated. So I'm sure there's still a job for the director at this stage.
There's directors, and then there's like voice directors, the one woman who does all the DC movies.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you ever watch her? No, she's awesome. Yeah, she's in like every single... You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Say it again.
The woman that is the voice director for like all the DC like animated shows. Batman. No. So there's too much. I'm not worried at all about.
I'm not
the
worried.
show.
But it's one of those things that anytime we see change-ups, it's always scary.
He could just be done.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just did the storyboards and he's like, okay, my job's done. You know, and then Chris is doing more of the hardcore editing. I feel like that might
be the case with like Chris Copeland, and maybe that's why he's like done. But if Justin was done, why would he say like I'm actively leaving the show? He's not leaving the show. He's done.
Yeah.
But he's actually saying I'm leaving the show.
No, he said I actually left the show.
Yeah.
I was on there for a while and then I left. I actually left.
I don't think that means.
Things.
I think that means that like he quit. That he's not.
Yeah, it does sound like he quit.
I always
the other storyboard artist, Laura Innes, that we follow her on Twitter. She got the job there storyboarding. She's working at WB now. I don't think she's on Invincible anymore either. So I'm assuming the storyboarding is done.
Yeah.
Maybe that part of the job is over, and maybe that's what I mean. I don't know if storyboarding is a contract job where it comes and goes. If season 2 gets picked up, do they get the same storyboard artists back? You know what I mean?
Not necessarily. I mean, we can look at seasons of animated shows and see if there's different storyboard.
I'm sure there are. Let's see. Next up, I have. This is a pretty big one. San Diego Comic-Con. What are some of your predictions, thoughts, expectations? We do know about the Kirkman panel that was announced. I probably should bring this up because this is going to work into our
It's what he does at every Comic-Con in conversation with Robert Kirkman.
It's basically,
my prediction for San Diego Comic-Con is that we will not get any kind of monumental Invincible news. That's my prediction.
Really?
Yeah.
At San Diego?
I think we may get like a little something. So like a little, like some more casting or something. Like, I don't know.
So the very first one, Thursday, July 18th, from 3 to 4 p.m., I'm assuming this is Pacific time, is Skybound Presents in conversation with Robert Kirkman. Join comic book creator, writer, and executive producer Robert Kirkman for Q&A with fans, discussing his latest projects, including The Walking Dead, Invincible, Oblivion Song, and more. So it is just the Q&A like he normally does.
Yeah.
After that, it's the 15 minutes after that, adapting source material for film and TV. Industry producers and writers discuss how to take fandom properties and adapt them for big or small screen. Panelists include David Alpert, Maggie Bender, and M. Raven Metzner.
None of whom is Robert Kirkman. And I'm pretty sure David Alpert is an executive producer on Invincible, though. Oh, probably.
That's what I mean. So, I mean, there is that. So there is a chance of people, if it is a Q&A, I don't know if it even is, if there will be questions on that.
But I feel like if we were getting like any kind of...
It's definitely...
Kirkman would be on it.
I'm not saying there will be Invincible come up during that. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not saying I'm not going to watch it, because I feel like it definitely could come up. You know what I mean? Between that and Oblivion Song, like... those are big pushes towards film and TV.
But I feel like there's... I think it's very
like what else
unlikely.
Yeah,
I just think it's unlikely.
Interesting.
It's possible.
I could see Kirkman talking about the show and movie in his conversation, and them referencing what Kirkman said in the second panel. You know what I mean? Like if Kirkman says, "We're not ready to show you a trailer for the animated series, but here are some images, so we could just see what it looks like." So the first couple shot, like screens.
I can see them
series.
revealing.
I can see that.
I can see them doing something like revealing
that and like a logo.
Just the logo.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
I think we might see Invincible, Omni-Man, Alan, like maybe character portraits, the logo, and that's it.
I will say that
I think the trailer will be New York.
Yes, I do too. I think that if he does reveal like any kind of exciting news, it will be Oblivion Song related.
You think so?
Yeah.
With how early that one is?
But that's what they fucking do. They get you excited early and then they don't talk about it for 6 years.
Yeah, I don't think there's if they don't show a trailer, they're not gonna show anything.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's not.
All right.
Have you ever seen like animation stills or like honestly for any animated TV shows?
We don't look for it though usually.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I
like just today Netflix is like, here's the stills for The Witcher.
Oh my fucking god.
It happens.
Dude,
he could do that.
Was so, but that's a TV show. That's not.
I think this
you're
is similar.
Right. Okay,
I think this is similar. So I could see that happening. After when we were recording Oblivion Song podcast, when we were talking about Seth Rogen and we started getting on about Invincible stuff and how that it's not on IMDb anymore, which I don't remember whether or not it was, but I'm pretty sure it was on IMDb.
I thought it was too.
I would not be surprised if the movie is. If he says something about the movie, like that, it's put on a hold for a little bit or something.
Hiatus.
Because the way I've been thinking,
you've been the most positive about it. I'm saying like it's dying.
But like the fact that Seth Rogen is a voice in the show makes me wonder, like, what fans have been saying for years, it would work better animated. What if they're like, hey...
But that's always the plan to do both. It was always the plan to do both.
I know. Well, the movie was announced first. Like
yeah, I know, but
before.
like a couple months later, they...
No, it was like a year.
Yeah, but still, like, you think that they canceled the movie within that year?
We know that he's been writing the script forever. Maybe it's not working, and they found that, you know what, this is better animated anyways, and he's attached to the animated one either way. Yeah. So Seth Rogen is still a part of this.
And a serialized show, too. Like, imagine that both are going on at the same time, right? And you have the script coming out, so many drafts, like, change this. And then you have this animated show that is just like... It's like it's hitting that sweet spot. It's probably making everybody really fucking excited and happy. They're like, holy fuck, this, maybe we should put all of our eggs in this basket.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Sure, but come up with a better way to announce that. Like if you're gonna announce the animated series, like we apologize, we got a little ahead of ourselves. The movie isn't happening. However, we're still gonna do it in animated form. We heard you guys, you're the fans. We heard what they have to say, and it's gonna be 1 hour episodes, 8 episodes in the first season. Like, people would go nuts for that, but they promised us both. Yeah. So if they take away the movie, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's for the best. No, fuck you. I want both because you said I was gonna get both. I want it all. Yeah. It's my money, and I want it now.
I think that as we've talked about, they announced it before it was in production. Things happen with production. That was one of the things, like I sent you all that stuff about Mouse Guard. Like, that's fascinating stuff. Like, a movie got that far into production, and it's just like, no, it's just not working. It's not going to work.
Did you read the script?
No, it's a script. Right?
Like skim through
I want to, though. Yeah. But it's fascinating. Like, all the CG, the costumes. They had costumes. They had miniatures. Like, so I don't know. Either way, we'll see. I don't know if... I feel like we're either going to get Kirkman saying... the movie isn't happening, or there's no news at all. Like, it's just still in the same spot.
I would almost feel like it would be better if the show came out and then they did a movie like after that, and people would almost be like, oh, it's based off of this animated show. You know what I mean? So
maybe that's something they discovered in writing it and whatnot, and they are bumping the movie.
Right.
I want an answer, though. I think that'd be... I think we'll get something. We're going to get something.
They've got to start talking about the movie.
If they say, oh, it's still, we're still trucking away. If they say something like that, I'm going to be fucking pissed. But if they're like, it's on hold until we get the show done, like, that would be awesome. But why? Who the fuck cares? I just want some news.
Yeah. It's going to be. But we'll see. Our episode is going to go up 2 weeks after that. So unless it's, like, insane, a full trailer, and, like tons of details, we're just going to talk about it at our normal first Friday of the month. Well, our impressions will obviously be on Twitter and whatnot, but unless something blows up, we're not going to do an episode. If they say the movie's not happening, we're not going to do an episode. We'll just talk about it. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping
we'll need a couple days.
My minimum expectations are like a logo, a screenshot, and the movie's still on track. That's it. That's the minimum of what I want.
I feel like in conversation, he always starts out with like something. Like the last In Conversation that I went to in New York last was him announcing the end of Outcast.
Outcast, yeah.
I feel like he's got to have something.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just going to be the logo, and then he's going to be like, let's start.
I don't know if
San Diego... He's got to get something.
Are these usually streamed?
Yeah.
They are, right?
Yeah. Last year, well... I can't remember San Diego. I don't think... But New York, they had it on the Skybound site.
Yes. No, it was not Sci-Fi, but there was a site that they were on.
Yeah.
But yes, hopefully it's streamed. We'll be watching it.
Skybound.
No, it was like a Sky... It was like a Sci-Fi... It was a different site that was streaming it. Anyways, we're going to go on to our main topic of the show now. We're going to talk a little bit about Monster Girl.
A.K.A. Amanda.
Amanda. Does she have a last name?
Swanson.
Amanda Swanson.
Swanson?
Is it Swanson?
Samsonite?
Samsonite? All right. I'm gonna go over some like highlights of her. I talked to you guys, said that maybe come up with like a thing or two that you think about when you think of Amanda.
But if you go through the highlights, you're gonna say all of our favorite things.
So should I just start going through them and then you guys interrupt? So if I ever talk about a thing that we want to talk about, let's talk about it. So I'm just gonna I think this will work better. Let's try this. Her first appearance was in issue 9. She was also on the cover of that issue with Rexplode. That was the one where she, transformed, beat up Rex. Mm-hmm. Really cool introduction. Mm-hmm. Issue 15, Robot takes a blood sample from her. Issue 22 is when she starts using the Black Samson suit, because Black Samson got messed up by Battle Beast. So she's flying around using that suit as Amanda,
right? Not
because she was starting to get too young.
She doesn't want to.
Yeah. Issue 27, she actually, fighting Omnipotus, transforms into the monster out and destroying the suit, therefore not being able to use the suit anymore. All this time, her costume is basically, when she transforms into the monster, she just has like brown rags on her wrists and her waistband, kind of like tribal looking thing. But in issue 34, when Mark is stranded in the desert after killing Angstrom, the future version of Monster Girl shows up, and she's wearing the leotard that she wears later on.
The onesie.
The onesie.
The whole body, yeah.
Then in issue 35, Rudy mentions he's moving on to phase 2, and he talks about how he did this. He was inspired by Amanda and her plight and everything like that. So he's kind of, that's when we get the budding romance. They start going on the dates to the movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Issue 47 was when Rudy was trying to get her to use a robot, but she doesn't have the mental capacity like Rudy does to be able to fight.
That was shaped like.
Yeah, it looks like Monster Girl, but a robot version. I thought that was neat. Issue 58, which we're going to be reading today, Rudy actually gives Amanda the belt and says that it'll store your exact DNA so that when you transform, you won't de-age anymore. You'll age normally from now on. Mm-hmm. Conveniently the same age as him, moving up. In issue 65, at Rex's funeral, Robot is given a speech. Amanda is moved by it and tells him that she loves him. Issue 71 is when they jump through the portal to the Flaxon dimension.
As children.
Yes.
As very
teenagers. Young. Yeah. Issue 82 is when they return from the Flaxon dimension, and Robot announces to Cecil that it's been 12 years. That
change in character might be one of my favorite.
Getting older like that?
Like seeing Amanda
So the next one, 83, is that welcome back party where she's
old and
looking really good.
Yeah, she's looking pretty good.
And all the other Bulletproof and Shapesmith are hitting on her, and that's when Rex actually sees her go off with Bulletproof, and it's all awkward. This is when there's a lot of awkwardness between Rex and Monster Girl.
Because we didn't get the Flaxon stuff.
We didn't know what happened.
Yeah, they were just gone.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of talk of her saying things like, I can't forget what happened there, or it was one mistake, you'll never forgive me for that, blah blah blah, and you don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then almost 10 issues later, they're still awkward. In issue 92, Monster Girl, they're on they subdue Octobos, and Rex makes a sarcastic comment, and Monster Girl punches through one of the Rex robots, and Britt's like, what the hell happened to you two? What's going on? And that's when we get our first flashback. So this is the whole Flaxon dimension
going back and forth between real time is Ottley, and then everything that happened in the past was Cory Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was that right? Did Cory Walker do the Flaxon stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did all the stuff in the past.
So in 92, we see that they were held prisoner. They used Monster Girl as a champion in an arena, and that issue ends with her revealing that it is in fact that they were there for 700 years.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
93 is when the Flaxons attack in real time in the present. We get a flashback that they led a rebellion against them. In the issue after that, we find out that Monax shows up.
So stop
and
here.
Says,
"This is my one.
Are you surprised to see your son?"
Yeah,
and that is also 94. Also has the flashback where they became rulers.
Yeah. So what happened with Monax though? The one you touched on it. The one thing that she's like, I made one mistake.
Yeah.
The one mistake that she made.
I didn't remember her saying that before getting the revelation. So when I was kind of looking through issues preparing for this episode, I was like, oh shit, she flat out says, I made a mistake. Will you not forgive me for this? Blah, 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 and goes on. Do you want me to get to the end of the flashbacks? Because what you're going to talk about probably ties in.
That's why I want to talk about it.
All right, go ahead.
So Monax shows up, but before Monax shows up, they kind of go into like the flashback of what happened before that was, so there was a rebellion with all the Zaxels.
That's right.
And they went there and Rex kind of took over the whole world.
He liberated all of them from the Zaxels, right?
Yes,
they were the ruling family.
Yeah, the royal family. And he stopped that and took control of the world. But then decades had passed and he was still treating the Zaxels as enemies, imprisoning them for way too long. And Amanda was like, it's enough. It's time for peace. It's time for you to release them. And he was like, no.
Wasn't it that it was several generations later? So these weren't even the same people anymore.
They weren't the same.
They were just the...
Yeah, so and she kept saying it's time to move on and let them go, and he wasn't having it. And then she went in and kind of freed a bunch of people against him.
She started a rebellion against him.
Yes, against him, and freed everybody. And then he was so mad, he was like, I don't ever want to see you again. Just get out of my sight.
But wasn't he right though? Because she was like, they're not going to rebel against you. They're not the same family. But then they did.
Oh, but then they did.
But they did because of that though. They did because he they
imprisoned Rex. When she attacked with them, they put Rex in a prison. She ended up, and then the next thing we see is her breaking Rex out and being like, "You were right. They did. You were right all along. They actually did make things worse. Now we have to fight back again."
Yeah, but I feel like they did that because he was not letting up on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They had to rebel.
Yeah.
They were in a position where I felt like they had to rebel.
Maybe not just the rebellion, but what I'm saying is after they rebelled and put Rex in prison, they went on to govern, and they went back to their old bad ways of governing. You know what I mean? They ended up not being good governing party anyways.
You mean after it all?
Yes.
After it all went down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm not saying what Rex did was right, because those weren't the same people.
Through hatred for Rex.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
So because Rex imprisoned this family, they grew hatred for him no matter what, because they're like,
so
my
even though they
bloodline
were in
has
the wrong,
been...
even though he was in the wrong and they were innocent people, because what he put on them.
I mean, but Rex always sees thousands steps ahead, so he knew that no matter what he did, there'd be another rebellion.
But backing up, when Amanda freed all of those people from the jails and everything, she ended up meeting a Zaxel woman, and that thanked her and everything. And then she ended up going back to Rex, and Rex said, "I don't get out of my sight. I don't want to see you anymore." And then they didn't talk for decades. And then all of a sudden, now we're real time.
Oh yeah. Now we're real time.
Come to find
out, shows up. And then issue 95, Amanda's distraught in the present the whole time. And we flash back to see that whole rebellion happen. We find out that she had an affair in her monster form. And that's when she frees Rex.
Because they weren't really
You're right.
Yeah, they weren't. It was just a one-night thing.
Yeah, but
it could have been decades, though.
But that's
we don't
the
know.
thing. She was also, if she was with her for that long,
she would have known about the kid, which she didn't.
Oh, that's true. You're right. So maybe it wasn't.
So maybe it was quick.
So why don't they talk about? Why doesn't the LGBTQ plus community talk about Amanda being a transgender?
Well, she would be.
She
is. I think they would. I just don't think that Invincible is big enough that it's.
She's big enough. She's gonna be super relevant. Then,
yeah,
become the enemy.
I think she will be.
Yeah, I think they should hone in on that. I think that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's not only. I mean, yeah, it is transgender. It's also different. Because now we also got an alien species too. So there's a whole lot there.
I just remember thinking when she transformed, we didn't even think about her gender.
Never.
We didn't even think about her sex. We just thought it was a big monster. We don't think about what's below the rag.
Yeah, which is funny because in monster form, she just has a rag. There's nothing covering her chest.
Showing the boobs. Yeah, showing that she has boobs. Yeah, it's just the chest. But you never think about it. And then when this happens, you're like, oh, she has a penis.
Do you think Kirkman always had that
I think
in
so.
his mind.
Yeah.
Like
I think so,
from the
too.
get-go, she turns into a male monster.
Yeah, I think so too.
So then,
So why wouldn't he be called? And this is more interesting: Monster Boy or Monster Man?
because it is Monster Girl. She is a girl who turns into the monster.
Turns into what
She
kind of
is
monster?
a girl.
And a man monster.
No, but she is the girl.
Not anymore though.
She's the
Now
girl
she's
that turns
just
into the monster.
Yeah, I know.
It's Monster Girl.
Hulk is not the superhero Bruce Banner is.
Right, but
That's what.
but if Hulk turned
Kirkman was
into
saying.
She-Hulk, like if Bruce Banner turned into She-Hulk,
I see what
would
you're
Bruce
saying.
Banner still be called Hulk? No, he'd be called She-Hulk.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that the reason why she's called Monster Girl is because, from Kirkman's writing perspective, he made Amanda the hero, not the
Right,
monster
so
the
Amanda's
hero.
like, I'm a girl and
Yeah.
I'm Monster Girl.
Yeah, I mean, she was originally a girl, and she was cursed, which we didn't talk about. I'm going to talk about that after this. So this whole arc ends in issue 96. Where
That was my one, by the way. That
was it?
I like Monax a lot.
Well, they return to Earth, and when they return to Earth from the Flaxon Dimension, she's wearing that costume that was the callback from issue like 33 or 34. 34, yeah. So she wears that costume. They imprison Monax, and Rex and Amanda have a moment where they go in there and see him all chained up or bound. And we find out at the end of that issue there's a flashback that he knew the whole time.
That's
insane.
another one
And
too. He went
killed
back and just slaughtered.
He slaughtered all of them and couldn't find the kid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's emotion there.
That right there was like, I feel like that was. I'm not gonna say the first big lead up to his takeover. I think the first big lead up was
definitely
was what issue was that? Was that 109?
We'll get there. That's but that is a key part in I think what happens to Rex.
I felt your toes with my toes.
There is we should talk about her origins for a minute, because she did get an origins thing in that where she was a rich girl who went to the preppy school, went overseas to a foreign country, and fell in love with this native boy there, and the boy's gypsy grandmother saw them making out, and she put a spell on her. And then on the flight home, she wasn't feeling well, went into the bathroom on the airplane, and started to transform. So at first, she didn't know what caused it, and the monster was
younger.
The monster looked like her, but green and bald. You know what I mean?
Skinnier,
Skinny,
younger.
Yeah. So and as she got younger, the monster got stronger and bigger, and she learned how to become the monster. And eventually she saw something happen. She saw a crime being committed, so she turned into the monster form and stopped it, and fell in love with fighting crime, and thus Monster Girl is formed. Jared Jones did an awesome Cyclops. Nice.
I'm just scrolling
You're just
through
scrolling
his stuff as we're talking. I like his explode.
So that's her origins, basically. We're going to talk more about that later when I have another question. But so after Monax shows up in issue 106, this is around Rex being completely frustrated with Mark. He's frustrated because this is after Mark has proven that he can do whatever he wants. It's after all the stuff with dinosaurs. Invincible can get away with murder. Nothing happens. Rex is fed up with him, and Rex is also feeling the weight of now he is a normal person who isn't in control, where he ruled for nearly 700 years. And in issue 107, a really good one with Monax, Amanda goes to see him, and Monax tells Amanda, this is way before we knew what happened with Rex, tells Amanda he's a monster. He slaughtered all of our people. Amanda's like, no, he didn't, because she didn't know. And he's like, go ask him yourself, And then in 109, we get, after Mark is sent to the alternate reality.
108 is one of my favorite issues.
Yeah, 108 is great. 108 is huge, but not so much as Monster Girl.
What happens in 108?
It's where Rex kind of shows his true colors too, though.
Well, it's the one where Rex makes the turn.
They
go into the alternate dimension. There's the Mohawk Mark,
Angstrom Levy's.
Angstrom. No,
Angstrom
that's
Levy.
when he kills Angstrom.
Okay. Yeah.
He blows up the Mohawk Mark's neck, his head, and leaves Mark there. So in the issue after that, though, right when Mark leaves was when Anissa throws the crying little baby, and it turns into the Godzilla, monster. And
I figured that would have been yours.
That is.
I was gonna say that's mine.
That's one of my two. When I think
I know
it's
what
that
yours
one and
is
one
too.
other one. Yeah. And
we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, that moment is awesome. And what was it? Who was it? Kursk or General Craig, who says like, or was it Conquest?
Wasn't it Conquest?
Was it Conquest? He said
Conquest.
like,
it's gonna take a week for it to sleep.
For it to tire. Yeah. So cool to think like that. You know, the younger she gets, the bigger the monster gets, and getting to see that whole thing. So 112. This is after the robot has killed Cecil. Robot has ripped off Eve's leg. Amanda, we haven't seen her. She hasn't reacted to all this yet. In 112, she's walking around the moon complex that Rex is in, controlling all these events. And he has a conversation with her like, hey, I think this place needs a new ruler, basically. This place needs, you know, some leadership, and I think I can do it. And Amanda's like, everyone won't be okay with this. It's like, they're not going to like this. And then she's not in her monster form or anything. And then all of a sudden, Bess Tiger shows up and shoots at Rex. And she turns into monster form, protects him. And she's like, you've already done this, haven't you? You already started this. And at that point, Rex is telling her that, you know, I can't do this without you. But no, he says, I want to do this with you, but if I have to, I'll do it without you. And he says that, you know, she calls him out on killing and wiping out everybody. He says he admits to killing everybody, but I couldn't find the baby. And she calls him a monster, and he says, I guess we have more in common than you thought. And
he kisses her.
And he kisses her monster form.
While she's crying.
All the robots subdue her. He kisses her while she's in monster form and throws her out the window. And that would be
into space.
Yeah, and that would be my number one.
Yeah.
I love her calling him a monster and him being like, huh, yeah, I guess so. And him saying,
Remember thinking she was dead? Remember thinking that's because everyone was dying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't out of the question for her to die.
What I like about her in that moment is the fact that like when you go through like everything, like justifying what what Rex was doing, what Rex Robot was doing, you're like, well, you can't relate because he's lived all these years. He's lived in this other dimension. She can relate, and she called him a monster. Like
yes,
you know what I mean. So that right there kind of is demoralized the word, like kind of like downplays everything that he's done. Because I mean, her opinion matters more than probably anybody's because she can relate. Yeah. What are you trying to do?
Trying to open the window.
That window.
Slide it. It is getting really hot in here.
It's summer.
I'm surprised you don't have a sweater on.
A sweater. I'm surprised you don't have a sweater
on. But yeah, right.
That's what you sound like. That's you.
Right before kissing Monster Girl, Rex says, I want you to remember you betrayed me first. Kisses her and says, but I will always love you. And then throws her outside.
Doesn't she scream his name?
Yeah. She's yelling Rex. Yeah. I have that page. That's one of my favorite pages. I love that. And then he just falls to the floor crying. Like, oh, that's so good. So after that, we've got only a couple more appearances of Monster Girl.
Who gets her out of space?
Is it Anissa is flying by and she brings him into the chamber? I'm pretty sure it's Anissa.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. In 113, she's retrieved from space. 114, there's a flashback where Rex, like this is at the end of that whole arc, and he's kind of like, you see all the times that he's met her and all the things they've gone through, and they imprison Monster Girl. In 121, Immortal breaks them out. Monax joins them, and they start a new resistance against Rex. And then we don't see him for a long time. We see him at the end, during End of All Things, where during the fight with against Robot, she's the one that calls him out. That, you know,
that's what I thought your favorite one was going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about that a lot, or was it you that talked about that a lot?
I think
one of the two of you liked that a whole lot.
I liked it a lot.
Cool. She's the one who found.
I think it's
the one
very
that Rex was controlling.
Yeah, I think it had to be like there had to be because of all this like crazy epic stuff. Like they had such a huge relationship, arguably one of the biggest relationships in this entire comic.
Yeah. I did love that she just knew immediately. Yeah,
she was able. Though. She was able to because like she calls him out and says like you've never loved me or you don't even know what it means or whatever, and he like stops everything and it looks like he's the one talking, and she goes for him, knows that he's in that robot, which gives Mark the opportunity to fly up into space with him. And then we see her one final time in issue 144 where Rex brain is in the tube, and he says, "Amanda, stay with me. Won't you talk to me? I'm incredibly lonely."
Oh, so sad.
And she says that basically, you
chose this.
You chose this.
Yeah.
Deal with it. And he says, "I will.
I will.
I will."
Remember the
Soon.
WILL was like bold.
Yep.
And that's ironic that we leave off on that note because our reread starts with issue 54, doesn't it?
It does.
Do you bleed?
Before we get to that, though, I have one more thing, though, Bill.
Okay, all right.
You will.
I'm not going over them, but she does make appearances in Brit, Guarding the Globe, and Invincible Universe. A lot of what she does in Guarding the Globe and Invincible Universe is just team up stuff.
She just shows up with the team.
She's in the background a lot.
And then leaves with
I
the team.
I didn't skim through it. I'm trying to remember if there's like a standout moment with her. I remember there's a really cool one where there's the bridge, and she's getting buried in the mud and stuff like that. Like there's some cool stuff, but otherwise.
Oh yeah, El Chupacabra's story.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
I think it was that one.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, arguably one of my top twos, but I picked my top two already. If I had to pick a third, it would definitely be this. The small appearance she makes in Brit Volume 3. I don't remember which issue of Brit it is, but remember they go into that alternate dimension where there's the alternate Brit and the alternate Invincible and whatnot.
He has the tech jacket and stuff.
Yeah, where he's wearing the tech jacket. There is the alternate Rexplode and alternate Adam Eve. And they have Monster Girl on a chain,
dude,
and she looks like
awesome.
She looks like World War Hulk. Yeah,
fucking Wolfman fights her.
Yep, she calls him Adam Eve or Shiva. Adam Shiva. I forgot what her name is. Oh, Adam Shiva, Monstrous Girl, and Hexplode, Monstrous Girl. It's so awesome. I love these alternate takes on them. This alternate dimension take. But yeah, Monster Girl. Wolfman fights Monstrous Girl. It's only in a few issues or a few pages. Wolfman takes her out pretty quickly. But yeah, that's it. Then the last things I want to ask you guys, 2 questions. 1, could Monster Girl live forever?
Yeah, because she could take her belt off when she
would
gets
just
too
take her
old,
belt off,
and then
right?
turn into monster form a bunch of times in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8,
Just really, really fast.
And then, yeah, and it's
She essentially could live forever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't think about that until thinking about.
Well, we know she lived for 700 years. I mean, that right there is.
Well, no, that's because their
that's-
bodies in
yeah.
that dimension. Rex talks about how time moves differently for them. Yeah, it's not because of the belt, because Rex didn't age weirdly.
Right. That's why Flaxons, like when they come back, it's been like
It's
hundreds of years, and their
it's
technology
like their
changes.
time goes really slow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, fast.
Yes. Yeah.
They age fast. They're like the fucking bug creatures, but
The bug creatures.
yeah, the ones that age really fast.
But they were in that dimension for 700
you mean
years.
Yeah. Yeah. But like they at one point they say, "Can you tell? It feels like we've been here for 4 weeks, but we've been here for 4 years," or something like that. Yeah. He says we've been here for 4 years and you haven't aged a day. So they don't age. It's all about how they age in that dimension.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
but
what
they're
it is.
definitely like
They're physically
had
there for that amount of time.
Yeah, 700 years. Yeah.
Definitely. But they don't age for the same. And then the other thing I want to ask you guys before we go on to the rereader is, what are your hopes and expectations for the movie and TV show animated? Assuming both are 100% on board, still happening, everything's happening, what do you want to see of Amanda in the animated series?
Not much.
This is pretty much the exact
Honestly.
same?
Really?
Or don't want to see
Like
her?
I want to see her more. In the beginning of the show, like she was not like one of my favorite characters. You know what I mean? Like she's not somebody that I need to see a lot of in the beginning. I want to see a lot of her in the later seasons when shit gets crazy with her. But I'm fine with her
that's what
being
I'm
kind
asking.
of like
So
in the
you're-
background.
So you're expecting a little bit more later seasons?
There's more fish to fry. There's
In-
more
in
shit
there-
I want to
But
see.
but I think that you could.
But isn't your thoughts on the first season of the show go pretty far?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like how the show is going to work is very much like a TV show and less like a comic book, where it's like there
Very
is
focused.
a Monster Girl episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
That's what I
mainly
want.
focused on
That's
her.
what I want to see. I want to see an episode start, and it's a young girl in France or somewhere, and we don't know who this character is yet.
I don't think it's
and
gonna
it's like
be-
a 15-minute scene, and then she gets on the plane, and she's in the bathroom freaking out. Like, that's a cool origin to show without knowing who the character is. And then, you know what I mean? Like,
But it's
know.
still focused on where the story's going.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Other like with Mark and them. But I think that that's how it's going to go, and that's kind of what I hope for. I don't.
I think seeing
don't need
Amanda,
a lot of
but I
Amanda-
think seeing
Amanda
Amanda
Earl.
as a young girl or an older woman in a young girl's body acting like an older woman is
Yeah,
that's
is
gonna
really
be
funny.
awesome.
Like
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's early on.
Yeah, I know.
That might
I'm not
be,
saying I don't want her in the show.
Yeah.
I want it, but like, I want that, like her acting like that. I just don't need to see her.
I could
a
see
ton.
that being some kind of comic relief too.
Yeah.
Her and Rexplode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is that motivation for Rex to clone himself and everything. So I think it's very integral. I don't know. And then live action again, I wouldn't expect to see it until a second movie in what I picture the first movie to be.
They'd need
and
a
I would
bigger
need-
budget.
Oh yeah,
Monster Girl shows
well
up.
that's everything with that movie.
During the new Guardians,
Yeah.
right? Like after they're all slaughtered and
Yeah.
she shows up during the tryouts.
The tryouts, yeah. But I think it'd be cool have the girl be cast, and then obviously in the next movie have an adult cast or something. You know, if they actually go through that whole Flaxon thing, which I wouldn't expect to see.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I'd expect that to be one episode in the animated series. You know what I mean? They disappear. No, I'm saying like they disappear in the beginning of the season, come back towards the end of the season, and then like the following season be like, this is where we were, and that's a couple episodes before Rex's.
Because it's actually very important to his turnover.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that would be an entire episode with them
Yeah,
and Flaxon.
I think it'd be
mentioned.
cool.
Yeah.
And cutting back to what was happening with Monax
with a different style animation.
Yeah, actually, that would be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
I could see it. All right, now time for the recap, the reread. Reread. I still don't like that we call it reread. I wish there was a better way.
What
are you saying right now?
Are you high?
So
The Cadbury eggs.
not Cadbury. Those are
Kinder Eggs.
Kinder Eggs.
We've been calling it. We can't change it now. It's the reread
It is the reread. I
for
know.
the past year.
All right, so this is volume 11, Happy Days. This collects issues 54 to 59 and The Astounding Wolfman issue 11.
Fuck yeah!
So previously my favorite trade paperback was the Africa one. This becomes my new favorite. This is currently my favorite trade paperback.
As of right now.
As of right now.
Current, okay.
And maybe ever. Because it has 3 of my favorite single issues in it. Like if I were to make a top 10 single issues of my personal favorite, 3 of those issues are in this trade.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's 30%.
I know. I love it. I love these issues.
I don't
Is
get
54
that.
one
I
of
get
your-
one
one
of
of your
them.
favorite?
I don't get the other 2.
54? 54, King Immortal?
I get one of
get
them.
that
I
one?
don't get the other 2.
So
That's the one.
The very first one, King Immortal. But you know what my other one is. You know I love 59. It's Powerplex.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go, 2. The other one, the third one is... Yeah, so there you go, 2. So the third one I know is weird, but I've always loved it. Anyways. 54.
What's crazy... I'm going back to it.
Here we go.
What's crazy about you saying that this might be your favorite of all time is that what episode is this of the Rereader?
11.
11.
Trade 11.
So
We're almost halfway.
Next episode.
Yep. We'll be halfway through the series.
Next episode is like the fucking one. The one you want to tune into.
Oh, I know.
Next episode is fucking Conquest.
Yeah.
And you're
Not
going to make a
just Conquest.
statement.
Not just Conquest.
The Invincible War, too.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you.
And you're going to make a statement
But that's
about this one?
That's what we always talk about. It's like, what's your favorite character? What's your favorite arc besides
I know,
Conquest?
well, you're going to make that statement.
I love Conquest. That whole trade is going to be insane. But like on a personal level, I love as a series like the little things that happen in this trade. Conquest, the fight is incredible. The whole thing through, the dialogue, amazing. Can't wait to read it next month, whatever. But this one is special.
We could do it next week.
I mean, honestly, what do we talk about more? Conquest? And when we talk in depth, we're like, remember when Conquest threw that punch and it was really cool?
No, it's this stuff.
It's this shit.
Stuff.
It's like,
All
holy
right.
fuck, King
How
Immortal.
dare you? How dare you?
Dude, every episode and every issue that came out, we're like, I wonder if they're going to
The
talk about King
world
Immortal.
is mad at you right now.
One of the first things I ever
daring
said.
to make fun
One
of.
of the first things
I'm not making fun of...
Oh, remember when Conquest threw that punch? Yeah, it was fucking awesome. It like created the whole series.
One of the first things I ever said to Ryan Ottley, it was when we first saw him in Boston. I said, "So is King Immortal stuff gonna mean anything?" All right, issue 54.
Garbage on my iPad.
So the first issue of this trade and the last issue of this trade, 54 and 59, I have the first page of both. That's another reason. Fun. So Mark and Eve are in Paris, enjoying a date. Dropkick and Fightmaster show up, and they take Mark to the future
And in this page, whoa.
Oh,
I love time travel.
Yes.
And this is why.
I didn't get it the first few times I read this.
I know.
Remember, we thought that it was like some security system or something that the future had. The future just had marks that, like Invincibles, that showed up and took. I never understood why this mark showed up and took his clothes. Yeah, super cool. So,
but we also get
why,
time travel.
Ryan? Why?
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah. We also get time travel with as soon as Mark leaves, another flash comes and it says, "Good evening, ma'am," and you think it's like a waitress or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Who's that?"
So Dropkick and Fightmaster say they need him to help. Their king is a dictator. He's immune to all attempts of killing him. We've tried for years. He's evil. We need you. And they know him from that fight with when they stole the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
So they knew where to go.
When they were no one. They were nobodies, and now they're...
Can we back up?
Sure.
No,
Can we talk about that Invincible?
Sure.
Let's talk about it.
Go for it.
So who is he?
It is Mark at the end of this issue who goes back to get his clothes before going back in time.
I think that's awesome.
Isn't that brilliant?
Why didn't we talk about it?
I'm just saying, like, we will at the end. Like, how did he get his clothes back? He gets them from him right there. Like, this issue, dude.
I like how they're just like, best we don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's just you'll see. So anyways, they get themselves arrested. Mark gets taken straight to the king.
Did they say how long in the future this is? I feel like they have to somewhere, right?
At one point,
No, they just say the
think
future.
at one point, Immortal
says it's
like
been so long that I don't remember.
I want to say 700 years, but that's just because we read.
Yeah.
Or we're talking.
Rex
Oh,
and
right
Robot.
here. I haven't seen you since you and your family left this planet. What was
he's
that?
like, what was, like, 200 years
300?
ago?
He said 200 or 300 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's the same thing. It's the ending that he's talking about.
Yes.
Well, depending on what... No, because...
This is our actual future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mark meets King Immortal.
But he says it's been 200, 300 years. So somewhere right now, Mark is still alive.
Yeah.
Based on the theory of
Yeah.
500 years.
500 years.
For the last issue of Invincible.
King, maybe Kid Invincible or whatever is left the planet already. Maybe probably did. Maybe he dealt with a whole bunch of shit and flew off. Leaving Earth to get to this state.
How does Immortal know that Invincible's still alive? If he hasn't seen him since he left.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. He knows.
He
He
says
finds
the
out right.
only
He's like,
man
whoa,
still
man.
alive that knows me by that name.
There's only one man. There is only one man alive who still knows me by that name.
See?
Mark Grayson. It is you. So maybe over those 300. Well, think about it. Mark probably went to Earth. He did visit Marky. Like he probably
But never
knew that.
actually
he probably
saw-
he probably knew that Mark was immortal. So, oh man, King Immortal saying you're smaller, much smaller than when I last saw you. You're not sick, are you? I thought they found a cure for that. You took your family and left. Mark's like, did Kate die? And he's like, Kate? I don't remember Kate. Is that redhead?
And then he shouts like, no, I don't remember. I feel like he doesn't want to remember.
Yeah, and he tells Mark, I just want to die. And he says, I need you to kill me. He says that he can't lead a world that he doesn't care about. I'm finished. I wanted to die for some time. I tried to instigate my own murder. He talks about how he's done things. He starts attacking Mark, saying that I've killed women and children. You never should have put me in charge of Earth. I'm not a Viltrumite. I knew I couldn't do it. You should have made me do this. This is all your fault. You were the leader of the Empire. You should have. And
oh my god, are you kidding me?
And Mark is like, stop talking. I don't want to hear these things, and rips his head off. What, Bill?
It's just like we always talk about like, when are we going to see this stuff? When are we going to see? Are we ever going to see this stuff? I feel like, me personally, I can't speak for you guys, but at one point I just accepted that we would never see this stuff, and it was just so far.
I held out.
I never accepted that.
Even if you
you never did, TJ.
No, you little bitch. Oh,
I'm pretty sure if we went back to
look
like
at your stupid face right now. Look at it. Look at it, Ryan.
He's being rude.
I don't want to look.
Just had my Kinder Egg.
I'm pretty sure if we went back to like our end of all things hopes and predictions,
this was one of them.
One of them was like, I want to know.
Fucking King Immortal.
King
we
Immortal.
need to know.
So Mark rips his head off. Dropkick and Fightmaster come in. Mark said he's not bad. He was actually he was good. He was a good guy. He just lived too long. And he's like, I think I'm ready to go home now.
I like that he said that he was purposely killing people, knowing that it was wrong, just to try and get people to
kill him.
to rebel
To rebel against him.
And they did a bunch of times, but they were all Is this going to be the rest of the podcast?
Failed attempts the rest of the podcast. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it happened several times and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, TJ.
I like
Excellent
that.
point.
This will be the rest of the podcast because now you can't say anything either.
Then we get Mark showing back up in his clothes saying, "Good evening, madame." The same art. And it's Mark showing up the minute he left Eve.
Time travel.
Mm-hmm. And he talks about how, like, I went to the future. There's some things I don't want to talk about, but do you think I'm a good person? And he just talks about how he's going to be more devoted to making this relationship work. And then we get awesome 2-page spreads.
I can show you the world.
Yes,
it's exactly Aladdin.
that. Yes, we get the Aladdin moment, and then a cool flashback of all their history together,
which was fucking amazing. Like it's a
far
2-page.
Art has come.
Yeah. It's a 2-page panel or spread, and Mark's on the
like
on
they're
the left
bordering
side.
it.
Yeah, and Eve's on the right side, and you could just not even notice that that's what's going on here.
Oh, no, the rest of the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, them meeting, all the Africa stuff, everything.
Do you think?
And then they say,
How long
"I love you," and kiss.
We've done the rereader now, right? And it's more recent in our memory. It's not just Mark and Eve are always together. It's like they literally just started dating.
Yeah,
and they're already saying "I love you" to each other. Isn't that a little weird? That's a little scene.
Because of given their relationship leading up to that.
No,
I don't think. I mean, I don't know, because I don't think it took Katie and I that long once we were dating, but we were friends
but this was
forever.
like their first date, dude. This was like their first date. Yeah, what was their date before this?
They were on that roof.
They
were on that. They were on the mountain making s'mores, and he was distracted. This was last month's issue.
Africa.
There's all the Africa stuff. They kissed in Africa.
Yeah, but they weren't together in Africa.
But they've been on adventures together. They've
I don't
done
know.
stuff. They fought sequins.
It seems a little fucking soon. I mean, I know how it ends. They spend eternity together, but you know.
But I know what you're saying. Especially But these are coming out month to month too. You got to remember that too. So that's probably if it was in real time. All right, issue 55.
Oh my god.
Mark,
this is so good.
Mark and Eve need some alone time.
Again, they're doing it a lot.
This is the first time.
This is the first time.
Oh, in this trade.
In this trade.
Yeah. But this is the first time. And this is the Alan issue. A great issue. We pick up where we left off with Alan imprisoned on the Viltrumite ship.
No, you're missing the best part.
Go for it.
The best part is that Kirkman wanted to give Mark and Eve like alone time, so they're like, you know, we'll leave them for now.
This is a family title after all, so we turned our attention to
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
This is the
Alan.
image. That's
fucking The Rock, dude.
Yeah. So he's on the prison with Nolan. They're communicating telepathically, and they talk about how they have their feelings for Talia, and Nolan talks about his feelings for Debbie. And it's cool because it starts to say, like, and a bond started to form until they were friends. And then, like, the Viltrumites tried killing Alan. So eventually he waited, and it became more of a mission to save this weapon, this Viltrumite weapon. It became a mission to save his friend. And so the time came, and there's another Rock moment. And I love this. Just him breaking out all the prisoners.
Him flying down the hallway, and just it's so tight that his shoulders are tearing open all of the cells.
And he's going through the checklist. Like, step 1, free cause damage to create distraction. Step 2, freeze the prisoners. Note to self, combine 1 and 2 if you can. Step 3, find a prisoner that'll help. And it's fucking Battle Beast.
It's fucking Battle Beast, who we haven't seen since he teleported out of fucking.
It was like the 26 or something like that.
Yeah.
So we don't know how he ended up on a Viltrumite. We don't know how he ended up on this Viltrumite prison ship, but he's there, and this is awesome.
And thank goodness he's there.
Oh my god.
Because he fucks shit up.
So they're about to execute Nolan, and Alan and Battle Beast show up, and they just start tearing through this ship. The poor Viltrumite gets his head. What was it?
I know that we talk about Battle Beast, but Battle Beast, like, saying, "Did you say Viltrumites?" He's like, "Are you the ones I seek? The fable conquerors, feared across the universe. I must fight you in battle.
I must fight you."
And the look on the
dude, I want him to be
Viltrumite's face.
Dude, animated series, I want him to be just insane. Just like
Yeah,
constantly.
but I don't want
like,
him to have like that generic like. I want him to have.
I want him
different...
to be too stoic.
Yeah.
I want him to be a little unhinged.
Unhinged. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like above all else, he just wants to fight. So yeah, they punch a hole in the hull. Everybody gets sucked out into space. Nolan and Alan basically fist bump with a Viltrumite head in between their hands and pop his head. Meanwhile, Battle Beast is off fighting that Viltrumite, who they just ignore. We don't see him again for a little while. And this is when Nolan reveals that there are, less than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites in the whole universe.
Oh my god!
And that's why we could beat them.
Do you remember that fucking twist? Oh my god.
Because it seemed impossible, and that puts it in a realm of like, all right, this could happen. And then it ends with going back down to Eve and Mark in bed, and Debbie like going up and knocking on the door and them hiding.
That upward angle of Eve is not very flattering, I must say. But they never are. Good issue so far.
Oh, good issues, right? Issue 56.
Oh no.
Oh no. Cool cover. Mark holding Gary upside down. I love the little...
Well, we don't know that it's Gary.
No, I know. And neither did Ryan Ottley when he made this cover, which is a fun
like
little tidbit. He
face.
thought, he thought that it was supposed to be Debbie's boyfriend. So when he drew him, he made it kind of look like Debbie's boyfriend, and it's
He has
not.
no... Does he have a beard?
I don't think
he does
has
have a little beard. Look at his chin. See the
Does
line?
he?
Yeah.
Huh? Well, but doesn't Debbie's boyfriend? I think he has a gray chin strap.
I
think he does. Or a gray
maybe
goatee.
you're right. Maybe you're right.
So this issue starts with Mark creepily watching Eve sleep, and she calls him out on it. In a
She's
really
got a little boobage there, like
really
that.
cute scene. Oh, yeah.
A little
They're
boobage? What are
showing
you
some
talking
stuff
about?
there.
Oh, yeah. Yep, she's putting clothes back on as Oliver tries to open the door and give him the phone because the phone rang and it's for him. He's like, whoa, hey, Eve.
Oh god, I love it. It's so funny.
It's so good.
What are you
Is it
doing
funny?
in
Is
here?
it funny, Bill?
So- Yeah, it
is
is.
it funny?
Thanks for asking.
So-
It's funny. It's so silly.
Mark takes
Robert
a call.
Kirkman.
It's serious. He asks Eve to, he's like, I'll tell you about it later. Just, it'll be fine. Like, everything's okay. And he flies out the window.
It's a very Superman.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah.
Pose.
Can we just talk about
Debbie?
what a great fucking mom
Dude,
Debbie is? I love
Debbie is
Debbie.
awesome.
So she watches Eve fly out of the window and she goes, sleeping my ass. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. With a little smirk on her face.
I like what she says later, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, because at the end of the previous issue, she's like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know, Mom. I was asleep. Stop. Sleeping my ass. Go on.
And then Kid Omni-Man suits up and flies out the window, and he says it's time for Kid Omni-Man's first solo adventure.
Do you remember this, Bill?
What, Amber?
Just like the reveal. So Mark
Of where he
flies
was
in.
going?
Mark flies in. I love how she's like, "Oh, I don't know why, but I thought you'd be coming through the door." Funny, she's very and you don't see the left side,
Desensitized to superhero.
and you don't see the left side of her face, and she turns and he's like, he just didn't mean it. She talks about how Gary gets a temper.
That's a fucking swollen eye, man. That's like, he nailed her.
Oliver goes off on his little adventure, and he finds, I forgot this guy's name.
No, not Furnace.
That's not Furnace. I don't
Giant? No. That's not Giant.
I don't know, but it's kind of like this guy in a big metal suit.
And he destroys things because he's trapped in it,
He's
right?
trying to get the
Yeah.
attention of a superhero.
Right.
So here we go. We've got Mark holding Gary upside down, threatening him.
Who's a little fucking bitch. Like, do you remember seeing Gary and he's like, "Oh, look how nice I am. I'll spend so much attention to you." And he's got a stupid beard and a stupid face, and he hits his girlfriend.
And Mark threatens him, says, "You hurt her again, I'll know about it, and I will kill you."
This is where it starts, or kind of continues. It started a little bit, but Mark is kind of battling whether or not he's good or not.
Yeah, I think this is definitely about the time in which we talked a little bit about it last episode. This is when we're like, this is Black Suit Invincible.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Black Suit. So we are definitely in this. This is what we're playing with.
The
here.
way he's drawn is very dark and shadowy with red in the back. It's very scary.
Him flying away after he throws Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he leaves Gary on that rooftop. Mark flies home only to find that Oliver is off fighting someone
Well, this is the part I was talking about. He comes home and he goes, "Has Eve
yeah.
been here?" Talking to Debbie, and she goes, "I need." He's like, "I need to talk to her," and she goes, "Your brother's on TV. He's fighting some giant robot thing," and then Invincible's like, "Crap," and then flies off, and then Debbie goes, "Was Eve here? Christ."
So good. So yeah, Mark goes after freeing that guy out of his suit, we assume, or arresting him or whatever he does. He ends up going back to Amber, who says that Gary called, he apologized, everything's okay now. I'm going to give him another chance. Everything's going to be fine, and that's where that's left.
We'll never see that again.
I never noticed. There's a Two Towers calendar on her wall. Interesting. Mark zips home.
God.
Him peeking out. Dude.
Can we just talk about the fucking comedic genius?
Dude, this
It's
is
Eve's house.
This trade is so funny.
And he flies and flap and like hides in a bush and fucking peeks out like an idiot and like he walks out like it's nothing. Oh my god, I fucking love it.
Dude, that looks like Glenn from Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, it does a little bit.
Kind of the way he's drawn in this whole arc kind of reminds me of Glenn. Maybe I'm just trying to see it now.
So, I love the honesty. I love Mark.
Oh my god.
Always from
Eve
from
home?
the beginning.
Her first name is Samantha. Eve is her middle name. And then the pause. Is Samantha here? In her bedroom.
But then
and then
Eve asks him, Mark just says, I was with Amber.
Yeah, but even before that, she's like, oh, were you now? I there are limits to how cool I can be about that stuff. And he's like, does your mom hate it when people call you Eve? And she's like, yes, don't change the subject. And like, God, the writing is so good. So yeah, he explains it. Yeah, he explains it, what happened. Eve, of course, is cool with it. And they just lay there for a little while. Mark shows up. He talks with Oliver about the fight, like him flying off alone.
Why are you're skipping over more comedic genius stuff?
Go for it.
He flies up into the window and he peeks into the dark window and he says, Oliver, are you awake? And Oliver just pops out, yeah!
And he's like, yow! He's like, sorry, I don't sleep a lot. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mark apologizes. He doesn't want to be too hard on him. He wants to train him and take more responsibility and stuff like that. And then they detect, Oliver sees something behind them, and it's one of the orbs. Mark runs up, catches it, it explodes, and they say someone was watching us. Who we know already at this point is that it's Angstrom Levy. So yeah. Issue 57. So far, Bill? How's this trade so far? It's all right? You got 2 issues? Two
Favorite
issues
of
in?
all time, though?
No, that's 3.
Strong statement.
3
This
issues in.
This
3
is
issues in.
really enjoyable.
Really
like there's,
strong, huh?
there's
It is.
nothing like we're talking about stuff and there's like so much like there's
You're
so much fun writing.
I will say that I feel like most of the time, every new trade paperback that we do, I like
better
more
than
than
the
the
last.
last.
Yeah.
Because that's how Invincible is. It just gets better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah, but
And
I
next
like the
one,
Africa one with that also has like Angstrom and stuff like that. I liked
Yeah.
that trade more than anything that we had done after it.
But like next is Conquest. After that, like small lull. But like then the Viltrumite War is not far after
Viltrumite War is
that.
cool, too.
Like shit goes down.
All right.
The
People
Viltrumite
fucking
War
down.
is one comic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
The
is.
Invincible War is one comic.
What did I say?
The
Viltrumite.
Viltrumite War.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
All right. Issue 57.
Viltrumite War is 75.
This is the tie-in with the Astounding Wolfman Part 1. Mark and Oliver bring the exploded bomb to the Teen Team base. Rudy and Amanda are playing video games in the background. And, Robot is taking apart the bomb or trying to put it together to find out what it was.
Orb.
Yeah, and there's a great comedic moment where Mark is talking to Rudy and he's having a conversation and the robot answers the question.
Yeah.
And Mark's like, that's just unsettling. And Rudy's like, oh, sorry, force of habit. And Oliver wants to jump in and play with them, and he actually does for a little bit. I like this Rex, too. Rex looks cool, just like reading the newspaper. I think at this point they're talking a little bit about how they don't have a name, or Rex wants to go with Global Guardians to stick it to Cecil. Robot tells him it was definitely a surveillance device, but there's nothing left to help
So Mark instinctively thinks Cecil.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so
who else would have this technology?
Right,
who else would be spying on him?
Yeah. So he flies off to go to the Pentagon and just fucking starts annihilating all of them.
Oh, I missed you guys too.
Yeah.
Just immediately, they jump right to it.
And it's Agent Hunter.
Yeah. Who's talking with Cecil. Cecil leaves Agent Hunter for a minute and starts yelling at Mark. Mark's accusing him of spying on him. Cecil's saying it definitely wasn't me. Don't let the temper get the best of you again. Then Agent Hunter shows up and says, "What about my problem?" And flash to Gary, right?
Gary, yep.
Gary, yeah.
Gary Hampton.
Gary's in the woods with the Elder and...
The Elder Brood.
Was it the Elder Brood?
Yeah.
And I gotta reread Wolfman, man.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. And this is when he's training him. And the Elder Brood says that you've got another task coming, and Wolfman basically gears up. They make a comment about, putting the costume on and wearing that. And meanwhile, Cecil is telling Mark, like, there's this guy. He murdered his wife. I need you to bring him in. Just do me this one favor. And he's like, I'll look into this device that happened. And Mark's like, I have Robot. Nobody on your staff is smarter than Robot. Like, and if he can't figure it out, then, nobody you have can. But then they got the call that the giant was attacking. And so Mark just couldn't deny helping when there's trouble. So Wolfman is actually trying to fight back the giant. And
because this was one of his tasks. The Elder Brood said, you're going to have to go out and there's going to be a fight and you're going to protect people.
Released him?
It's possible.
Because we don't know how this guy broke out of his prison.
No. The Elder Brood?
Yeah.
Released what?
Giant.
No, he didn't have anything to do with the giant. The giant got kidnapped by the government.
Yeah, but in this, the giant
got free somehow.
Got freed from his
The
cell.
Elder Brood doesn't leave like the forest or like he's
not too far.
He doesn't care about man's problems.
Well,
but that was one of Gary's tests, is that he has to protect people, and that's why Gary put on the suit and everything and changed, because he's going to go do that test, and then all of a sudden he's with the giant. Like, that's his test.
I feel like it was too. TJ.
It is, but your question.
But my question is,
was
like,
it premeditated from the Elder Brood?
Did he actually set it into motion, or did he
right.
sense it, like he was saying? Yeah,
it could go either way.
So Invincible shows up to help. He knocks out the giant. He puts him down and like scolds him because he is a little boy and he's sitting there looking all mopey, and forces him to sit there until people come to take him away and help him. He's like, they're going to try and help you. Let them. Meanwhile, Mark says, "Hey, I gotta take you in." And he fights a little bit with Wolfman because he doesn't want him to take him to Cecil. And Gary has a great conversation with him, saying, he takes all his gear off, reverts back to human form, and says, "Listen, you can hurt me in this form. Just trust me. Hear my story." And he explains the whole story, which we don't have to get into.
Nah.
I do love the comedy here, though, where Gary starts talking about all the crazy stuff that's happening with like vampires and everything, and Mark's like, "I'm listening," and it's like this panel. Gary breaks down over the whole situation. Invincible believes him and says, I'm gonna have to still take you in, and you have to tell your story to Cecil. He'll listen." He goes in. He explains to Cecil. Cecil's like, "It's too public. This isn't like D.A. Sinclair. This isn't like Darkwing. It's too public. I can't work with him." And they're in the White Room, and Reanimate attack. So yeah, next issue is issue 11 of Wolfman, illustrated by
Jason Howard,
who hopefully we'll get to see at New York Comic Con, because I've never met him before, and that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
He wasn't there last year.
Oh, really?
He was a C2E2.
Damn, hopefully he's there. So yeah, the Reanimate attack, they fight him. Wolfman gets carried out of the Pentagon by Mark. Wolfman says this is uncomfortable. Mark says, "I get that a lot," because he's armpitting him. They get shot out of the sky by something, which I don't know what, because then they fall to the ground, and you find out that the Guardians of the Globe, who now work for Cecil, the ones that are loyal to Cecil, are there. So who shot him out of the ground?
I think it was Immortal flying really fast.
No.
Yeah.
I think Darkwing threw something.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
But in typical Jason Howard fashion, really, really cool quick action scenes, one page back. So when they do get separated, Wolfman's falling. Invincible says crap, goes and catches him right before the ground, and throws him back up into the air, and then slams into the ground himself.
He's so good at that.
To stop Wolfman from hitting the ground and
which is funny
dying.
because do you think Wolfman could have taken that fall anyways?
He would have been fucked up though.
But Mark might not know that, so he instinctively tries to save him.
Yeah, Mark also wanted him to be ready for a fight. You know.
Oh, interesting.
Even if he hit the ground and was fucked up, he could revert back.
So they fight the Guardians in a great scene. Talking a lot of smack about how they're corporate men now.
Do they fight them? Because, I mean, like, what happens is they kind of...
Wolfman takes, like, all of them, while Invincible takes Immortal.
Yeah.
And eventually they get frustrated. Like, at one point, Darkwing almost pulls Wolfman into the Dark Dimension. Invincible saves him, but then grabs Immortal by the face and swings him around.
Well, what I like about this is, like, they stop. They stop fighting for a minute, and then Invincible's like, listen, we need to stop. I am sick and tired of holding back.
Oh, yeah.
And then Immortal's like, what do you expect us to do? Do you want us to just let you take this criminal and run? Do you think that we find you intimidating? You are a child. We're the guardians of the globe. What the hell do you think? ... And then he gets grabbed by the face.
Grabs him by the face.
Invincible and swings Immortal's body around, using Immortal's body as a weapon, and just like hitting everybody else with Immortal's body. Just fucks them up.
And throws him like to the stars. Like he throws him like miles
he's
away.
Making a little whistling noise like...
Yeah. And then they leave. And Invincible brings Gary back to his house. He looks in on his daughter. He explains everything. He explains that he wants to hunt down Zechariah. His butler comes out, Dunford. He introduces Mark to Dunford. And then it's a lot of Wolfman stuff, which is great. Go read Wolfman. And it ends with Cecil knowing where Wolfman is and saying that he'll be keeping an eye on him. All right. Now issue 58. Oops, two more. The other two of like my favorite issues. I love 58 because of what it is. It is the 16 panel issue.
Hey.
So every page has to be in the 16 page or the 16 panel format. So see these squares?
Yeah.
So there has to be 16 of those on every page. You get what I'm saying? So keep an eye on that. So you've got one like these ones, and the 4 would fit right here, the same size. Every page, they'll fit like that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Why?
See what I'm saying?
Why did it need to do that?
Kirkman did it for a reason, just creatively. Like, there's different ways. It's kind of like the opposite of issue 99, where every page is a splash.
Can we talk about...
He's done this for Walking Dead, too.
Cool. In the first page, so it's Mark and Oliver flying.
Great cover, too, by the way.
Yeah. Mark and Eve. Mm-hmm. At the bottom panel, when they're outside of Beefy Frank's, that's the Venture Bros right there. It is.
Yeah.
Which I don't watch, but
Neither
it's easly identifiable.
And it's also the same hot dog place that Mark and his father went.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
When they were younger.
Bill, read the
sign. Okay, so Beefy Frank's, underneath of it says what they have. Hot dogs, chili dogs, shakes, cheese fries, hot dogs, sodas, hot dogs.
It's great.
Fucking ridiculous.
So yeah,
Eve looking fucking super
Mark
awesome.
is talking about how Oliver's almost as fast as he is, by the way, right there. And he takes him to get hot dogs. Yeah, Eve looks amazing. This is some of the best Invincibles ever looked. I love this era. FCO, man. So Eve is walking out of the prison, grossed out by it, and she says, Mark Grayson, the things I do for you. We got the teen team talking about how they need a name, and Amanda flips out. She's like, who cares about our stupid name? Is it really that important? And she's getting frustrated. She talks to Rudy and says that she's getting younger every day. Soon, like, they won't even be able to go out in public. I mean, and Rudy says, I was going to surprise you, but I think I found the solution. And next page, like, what's great about the 16 panel thing is you fit a lot in it. It's dense. Then it's Immortal and Duplicate shopping for a house. She drops the bomb that where are we going to put all the kids? They need all this room kind of thing. Immortal's like, children? Mark and Oliver show back up at the house. Oliver accidentally flies into the roof.
Aquarius.
Aquarius just sitting there, doing nothing still.
So boring.
Mark and Eve talk about how she's got something figured out with the whole living situation because they're tired of sneaking around their parents' houses and stuff like that. And around this time, the Invincible presents Adam, Eve, and Rexplode issues were coming out. So we get introduced to Kill Cannon, who Eve describes as her nemesis, which you'd know if you read her origin comic. They knock him out. Mark says, your nemesis sucks. I like that how Eve sticks his feet together, like holds his feet down, and Mark punches him out. So Eve says, all right, come with me. I'm going to show you what I've been working on, because Kill Cannon says that he saw her at the prison today. And Mark's like, what was that all about? We get Shapesmith at Art Rosenbaum's shop. Art designs him a new costume. Shapesmith just turns into the costume, and Art's like, I'm not getting paid for this, am I? Great scene. There's a scene between Darkwing and Black Samson where Darkwing talks about how he feels like everybody looks at him differently because he's a criminal. And Black Samson says, no, everybody looks at you differently because we used to know you as like Night Boy, as this young kid, and we're seeing a man now who's grown up, and yeah, we've all made mistakes. Good scene. Eve explains that you now work for Invincible Inc. You have a phone, you are on a payroll. Go for it, TJ. Thought you were going to say something.
Well, this is the same around the same time that Batman Incorporated came out.
Was it?
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of
yeah. So if like a power plant or a prison needs something, they just call him. So otherwise he gets a payroll. It's 6 figures, and in a few months they're going to have their own place. And then Oliver and his tutor have a conversation, and they talk about how it's dangerous there, but Oliver says that, brings up that there was an orb that was watching them, and the tutor says, should I be worried? And Oliver's like, nah, you'll be fine. Didn't you think there's going to be something between them?
Who?
Like, Oliver's going to grow up and be older, and he was going to date her?
It looked like they were trying to get some sort of like
a relationship.
Like when we were reading it week to week?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't remember.
There's another orb watching Mark. He flies, catches it, turns it to dust. Bill's favorite thing in the world happens with the sequids.
Soon.
Yep.
He actually says soon this time.
Yeah. I think it's the only time he says it, but it's what you think of every time. Rudy gives Amanda her belt. And when she is looking at the youngest she's ever looked, she transforms and she says she feels like it's working. And Mark shows up, says that he found another orb. They say whoever's spying on you could be the worst threat you've ever faced. And on the opposite page is all the different alternate universe Invincibles. And then the last page, a splash page of Angstrom Levy saying, it's a start. I love that issue. There's just so much. It's one of those issues where it's like, here's a million like questions answered and questions started. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff happening in it. All right. This issue should go quickly.
The worst issue of Invincible.
You're crazy. You're crazy. Issue 59 starts with a splash page of Powerplex freaking out, practicing his speech against Invincible for when he will catch him, saying Powerplex will make you pay for your crimes. He's actually just practicing in the living room with his mom and son. His son's covering his ears.
You will pay for your crimes against humanity. What movie?
I don't know.
You will pay for your crimes against humanity.
I don't know. What is
Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerplex is just talking with his wife. He's talking about how it's gonna be soon when he's ready, and she's like, "All right, yeah. You gonna go to the grocery store with me?" He's like, "Yeah, let me take a shower." Later on, you see him at work. He works at the Pentagon, where he's taking this technology from. They're doing random searches, and soon he's gonna be caught. You see him attacking Shapesmith, looking for Invincible. Shapesmith turns into Invincible, and because he wants him to be invincible, like he's looking for him. So he leaves. He gets in an argument with his wife because his wife is like, "You were supposed to wait for me. I wish I would have known you were going to do that." And they start talking about how the reason why he's doing this. Because during the fight between Omni-Man and Invincible,
his sister
was killed. She worked in like an office building. Yep. And he wants Invincible to pay for it because they can do whatever they want. And he tries looking for Invincible again. Attacks the Guardians, or the Teen Team, I guess you would call them. And we learn that hitting him or throwing things at him, like Rex throws something at him, just makes him more powerful. He gets into another fight with his wife. He's not even a fight. He's just frustrated because he's trying to find Invincible, get his attention, and it's not working. But he comes up with a plan, but it would involve his wife and their son, Jack, too. So he ties up his wife and his son in a factory or something. They put it on the news, asking for Invincible to show up. Invincible does. He's like, what the heck, dude? I don't even know who you are. You should let these people go. And he's like, do you know who Jessica Duvall is? And he's like, no. And Powerplex just attacks him, saying that she died when the building collapsed around her, when you and your father fought. And Mark's like, a lot of people died that I don't know. I don't know the name of them all. I'm sorry. All I could say is I'm sorry. And Mark's just saying, I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm not going to let you kill me. And he's punching Powerplex, but he's getting more and more powerful.
He says that he gains more power with every punch that Invincible throws.
Mm-hmm. And Mark decides not to fight him, goes to save the woman and child, but she spits on Mark's face. And she's like looking on at him proud. And this scene of Mark with like smoke coming out of his mouth.
Love it.
I love it. Very intense. And Powerplex grabs him by the head and says, die. For everything you've done, for everything you caused, die. And sends this huge shockwave into him. But the resulting shockwave kills his wife and child. And Powerplex, walks away from Invincible, who's still fine, and freaks out on Invincible, saying, you made me do this. And Mark's like, I'm sorry this happened, but, I didn't do this. And he basically holds Powerplex until he uses up all of his energy. And Powerplex looks on over his wife and child's body, very emotional, and brings him to the Pentagon, where they have that moment where Mark starts to talk to him, and he's like going into a speech, and he like says, shut up. I only agree with this so I could talk to you. You think that this is it for me, but I won't be in here forever. Sooner or later, someone will mess up, and I'll escape. And when that happens, I will find a way to kill you. I've always liked that issue just because it's the only issue that isn't that's completely...
Yeah, Invincible's like a side character.
He's a side character.
Yeah.
And it's from this villain perspective, and it's showing the cost of, the fights going on. This was pre-Civil War.
Oh, this was pre-Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, like when it was like kind of a new idea.
Yeah, even though, the Civil War comic had come out, but, so it's not entirely new, but it was cool seeing it in this comic. Just those things. So that's it, Bill. It's a good trade. It's a good trade.
Yeah, that was absolutely a good trade.
TJ's going to do his usual flip through the next trade. Bill, I'm going to see if there's anything that we want to mention. This week is Spider-Man. So when this episode goes live, we will have already seen Spider-Man.
When are you seeing it?
Tuesday night. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow? Are you going tomorrow night?
Mm-hmm. You guys going or not?
9:10, yeah.
We're at Elmwood?
Elmwood.
Yeah. We're going to 7, I think. TJ, you saw yesterday?
We both saw yesterday.
Did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see it Wednesday, I think.
Liked it more as time went on.
Cool. I'm excited
the more I
to see
started
that.
to think about it and tell people, and I'm like, wow, that's really fucking smart.
I think you're really gonna like it.
Oh, you're gonna fucking love it. Right?
I'm excited.
You're gonna love it.
I've heard good things about all the side characters too, so I'm really excited.
Yeah. Oh, what did you hear?
Just that it's good. That
okay.
All those characters are good.
All
that
right.
Kate McKinnon, Ed Sheeran, they're all actually good characters.
Okay, good.
Other than that, any TV shows? Final Space is back. I have not watched it yet.
Oh, the first episode. Listen, guys, and by guys I mean fans of the podcast. If you haven't watched Final Space yet, go and you can buy the first season. It's $19.99 on iTunes.
That's worth $20.
It's fuck, it is so worth $20.
It's one of those shows that like we talk about here and there, but we talk about a lot of very popular things on this show, and it's something that we want
to become bigger.
Final Space to like continuously get more seasons, because it's one of those shows that's like, it starts out like funny, it's good, but you know it gets nuts as it gets later in the first season.
In the first season, Invincible's in that show. Glenn.
Oh yeah, he is.
Glenn plays
Little Cato.
Little Cato.
Yeah, Little Cato. Which his dad's name is Avocado, which is ridiculous. Again, that sounds fucking stupid.
Dude,
his dad's name is Avocado, right? And his name, he's a little cat creature, is Little Cato.
Little Cato.
Little cat, Little Cato, Little Cato. I
never got the little cat part of it. That's so good. It's so funny.
Yeah, but anyways,
any other shows or movies?
Me and back to Final Space. Just one real quick thing, because me and TJ were talking about it for like a half hour, like how people compare it to Rick and Morty and how like it kind of fits into the same realm of like it's similar. But
I'm very picky with those kind of shows. I'm not a huge fan of Rick and Morty. Yeah,
Rick and Morty.
I like Final Space a lot.
Rick and Morty is just ridiculous, but it's still very smart.
Yeah,
but it's
smart.
Just ridiculous. Final Space is more. I hate to say more realistic.
No, it's not.
But it's more. It's
Final Space. I can understand why you say that they're not comparable, but I actually disagree. I think they're very comparable, because I think that like, I feel like I get more emotion from Final Space, because Final Space is like really emotional.
I do too.
Rick and Morty has those moments though, where it can be very emotional and very real. But like at the same time, like I think that the main character of Final Space is absolutely ridiculous, just like characters in Rick and Morty.
He's my least favorite character almost.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He took a while.
Yeah, it takes a while.
He's really good in the first episode of the second season. Like he almost completely toned it down.
Okay,
like
good.
you know how he's like a cookie, like in the that was a really good impression.
It was.
But
anyways, we were talking about how if you were to compare the first season of Rick and Morty and the first season of Final Space all day.
Final Space is also a continuation from episode to episode.
It's serialized, so
I'm excited to see what it becomes then if it keeps going. Other than that, hopefully we'll be back next month to talk about Walking Dead.
We'll be talking about Stranger Things, I'm sure.
Oh shit, Stranger Things is happening. You're right.
That's July 4th.
Yeah.
That's
couple days.
This week. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, it's out. Other than that, I haven't been playing too many video games. I've just been too busy. We're going to go play some VR after this. I've been playing a lot of VR, though. I think that's it. Is there any other stuff you guys would like to talk about before we wrap it up?
Not that I can think of.
Good.
No, I think we did a lot of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back next month.
We are going closer to New York City Comic-Con.
So the topic for next month episode, I mean, obviously we'll be talking about Conquest. That's going to be Volume 12, still standing. But we're also going to talk about what happened at San Diego Comic-Con. If nothing happened at San Diego Comic-Con, we'll talk about something else. Maybe we're
going to be talking about fucking Conquest next episode, all right?
Yeah, maybe we'll just play Super Fight or something for a little bit. But otherwise, next episode is going to be San Diego Comic-Con news, as well as Conquest. That leaves us with, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Our outro music, which is probably playing right now if you listen carefully, is done by Wyatt Layne. This song is called Flip and Burn. You can find all of Wyatt Layne's music on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. He's an Invincible fan and a really great guy, so check that stuff out. Thank you all for listening. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
on the door? Where's your mayonnaise?
On the door.
On the door?
Is that what you would say?
Where's your mayonnaise? Where's your ketchup?
If you told me to get the ketchup out of your fridge.
Okay.
First of all, he doesn't put ketchup in the fridge.
It's a pop off.
You don't?
Twist off.
No. So 2 things. If you're in the living room saying where is it, I would say it's in the fridge on the door.
Yes.
On the door.
Yes.
No. Just skip. You wouldn't say in the fridge on the door.
But if you had the fridge open,
yeah,
I feel like I would say in the door. I don't know.
No.
All right.
You would say it's on
Where
the
did
door.
you get that? Top of your head. It's not a twist off. It's a man's Angry Orchard.
Where in the
you
fridge
have to
was
pop
that?
that shit off. Where in the fridge was that?
On the door.
Yes.
Ew,
Yes.
on the door. Katie!